Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silver Spring. This is SSMC, our Silver Spring campus for NOAA. You can see our building number 1, 2, 3, and then in the far distance over there, building number 4, where we are. All of this is very accessible, and we're going to show you some of the ways that you can get around campus. So if you'll follow me just over here, you'll see we have our bus station for Silver Spring, as well as the metro station. Both of these are great public transit options, and you also have a MARC train station here. So if you want to get to Silver Spring via public transit, there are a lot of options. They'll usually leave you off in this general area. From the bus station and metro, you can take this walkway over to that elevated walkway, which will take you straight into the PL level of the parking structure for SSMC. From there, you can go out to the street and over to building 4. Similarly, if you're driving to campus, that's where you're going to want to park. And there are 2 entrances to that parking garage that come off of East-West Highway. Now our next destination will take you over to some of the features on campus. So follow us. All right, we are now at our next location, which is the Gateway to NOAA. The Gateway to NOAA is a publicly accessible exhibit that showcases the history of ocean science, exploration, and our agency, NOAA, and what we've been doing for over 50 years now. Currently it is closed due to COVID, but hopefully in the future it'll be someplace you can come check out. If you ever have a visitor in town or you have a guest, somebody you want to show there, might be a cool way to explain what it is we do at this agency and why our work is important. We are in between SSMC2 and SSMC1. You'll see we have a number of great outdoor spaces like this that kind of provide a little bit of a natural courtyard. You can always take lunch here or grab coffee with a friend or someone like that in the office. And to do so, you'll find that we have a number of different news, coffee shops, places like this all around the campus, all in the first level. I think there are 4 in total. And they provide a lot of amenities, a lot of things that you might want on your way to and from the office. The location, generally speaking, is quite nice in terms of the access to restaurants and things you can do both before, during, and after work. So to show you a little bit more about that, we're going to walk over to SSMC 3 and showcase our fitness center as well as our daycare center. All right, welcome everyone. We are now at the entrance to SSMC 3. Which is always easy to identify based on the hand. This is kind of the big building of our campus. This is where a lot of the undersecretary's offices and a number of other critical NOAA teams are located in this building. On the ground floor here, just beyond these doors, is NOAA's Science on a Sphere, which is another exhibit that's typically, showcases things that we're doing that relate to weather predictions and modeling, as well as a number of other pieces of work that NOAA is undertaking, whether that be mapping the ocean floor, projecting coral growth. All of those different things are available to investigate in an interactive exhibit here. It's really great for kids if you ever have your kids on campus and want to take them there, or even suggest it to your school for a field trip. Through the main doors here, you'll notice we have another one of those coffee shops just to the right here. It's a great place to grab a bagel on the way in. And then upstairs, we have our health center as well as our daycare facility. And we'll be showing those to you in just a second. All right, we are now here at the NOAA Fitness Center, which is a great place to come either before work or afterwards, get a little bit of exercise in. There are a number of classes here, including yoga, as well as some general strength training. You do have to get a membership, but it is discounted for NOAA employees. It's located on level M2, so mezzanine level 2, in building 3 of the SSMC. And next we'll take you upstairs and check out both our security entrance as well as our daycare facility. All right, now we are at the security entrance for SSMC3, just ahead of us. This is also where our employee work-life center is, where you can come check out resources. We have a large cafe area just to the right here for grabbing something to eat, and sitting and eating during lunch. And then you'll also notice just behind you here is where we head for our Bright Horizons Children's Center. So to access the Children's Center, you actually need to step outside ever so briefly, and you can see the sites here. This is where we were just a few seconds ago, down here by the Noah Hand. And this road out in front of the campus here is East-West Highway. But on here, this is a kind of a terrace that we have that wraps around the building. There are places you can sit and eat, or decompress from a meeting, maybe grab a little sunlight while you can, and then you can walk through here. You'll see the Work-Life Center that I mentioned, which has lactation rooms, as well as a number of other resources for employees. And then just beyond that is Bright Horizons, our children's daycare center. So this is a facility that is offered on campus here at NOAA. It is currently not open due to COVID and due to just the number of people that are coming into campus currently, but we hope that it will be open in the near future. It does have a wait list, so if this is something you're interested in using, certainly check them out online beforehand and make sure that you can get access to the care that you need for your children here on campus. Next, we'll take you back outside and over to our building, SSMC 4. All right, this is the final stop on our tour before we head up to the 11th floor. So you'll see here we're in front of Noah's Wave Pond, which is not currently on. But when it is, it replicates the motion of a wave. It's a very meditative, really nice place to come out. You can see we've got some outdoor seating available if you ever want to come out here for lunch. And this is, some of you have already been here, but others of you have not yet, the NOAA Science Center. So we have kind of a demo lab area where we do some presentations on the left. And then on the right, we have a more formal auditorium with, traditional auditorium style seating and a podium and stage and things like that. That might be a place where we do all hands meetings in the future, especially if there's anything that NOAA has to announce or do that. That might be the location that it takes place. Then just behind here is the entrance to our building, Building 4, SSMC. And up on the 11th floor is where our office is. So we will head up there just now and then tell you a little bit more about our office as well as some emergency preparedness information. And welcome to the Office of the Chief Financial Officer. Still a work in progress. You can see we're still unloading things and getting things set up here, so please excuse the appearance. But we are here right now in our central elevator room. And we're going to show you a little bit of the office, but more than anything, we're going to show you some information that you need to know about emergency preparedness and what to do in the case of an emergency here on campus. All right, so located in a number of different places here in our building are these evacuation maps. These will show you the quickest route to get to a stairwell and where to head in the case of an emergency. It shows the general layout of our office as well. You'll always want to look for these red exit signs. These signs will always be illuminated. Even in the case of an emergency, we have emergency generator backup power that will keep them illuminated, and they will also direct you to the nearest stairwell. If you follow us down this way, you'll see we have a number of other things we want to showcase. The first is some of our fire signals. So these will be lit up as well as making noise throughout in the case of an emergency, and that's a quick indicator that you need to follow emergency instructions. Then, in addition, we also have fire equipment stationed throughout the office. You'll see them noted with these big signs, and then you'll also find fire extinguishers available for you in the case that they are needed. All right, the next thing we want to call your attention to is fire alarms. In the case of emergency, if you see a fire, simply reach in and pull down on this alarm. It'll set the alarm off for the entire building. This is also where our second set of staircases is. We'll take you back to our first one in just a second. But in the case of an emergency, you want to proceed to the stairs. Inside here is our stairwell. The stairwell is fire rated to 1.5 hours. So in the case of a fire, both this door and the stairwell itself will be a safe place to be. And it is also positively charged, so that means that there are no cross currents of air, meaning no smoke will get in the case of a fire. There's actually air coming out of this, which is why you'll often find that the doors to these types of stairwells are a little bit heavier. It's because there's a little bit of a suction force being created. But it ensures that there will be no smoke in the case of an emergency. So this is where you want to head if you do see those fire alarms setting off. All right, we are back in the elevator lobby to showcase these two pieces of life-saving equipment. The first is our LifePack emergency defibrillator, which can be used by those folks who have training and are authorized to use an emergency defibrillator. Additionally, we have our EvacuTracks. We have a set of two of them, one here as well as one over there. These are used to assist those people with mobility issues in getting down the stairs in the case of an emergency. They can be used by personnel who have been trained, and if you are interested in learning how to do that, you can sign up for the buddy program with somebody who has a mobility issue or other kind of disability. You'll be trained by some of NOAA's security staff, and they will show you how to use these in the case of an emergency. Generally speaking, in the case of an emergency, you're going to notice a few things happen. The first is that we have a floor manager who will be somebody wearing an orange emergency vest that is reflective, the kind that you often see construction workers or other folks like that wearing. They will be immediately notifiable by that, and they will also have a flag that shows NOAA OCFO. You'll want to follow them and listen to them for directions because they're going to show you where you need to be. In the case of an emergency, we will all evacuate and follow our evacuation guidelines to a location outside of the building where we will all gather, and the floor manager and other safety personnel will take attendance and then report that to the security team that is working here at the building. We want to make sure that everybody gets out safe and everybody is accounted for in the case of an emergency. That is, however, only in the case of an emergency evacuation. There are other circumstances where we will have an emergency shelter in place. Sometimes this is because of extreme weather events or other events like an active shooter. In those cases, you will also want to look for our floor manager and all the other safety personnel who are wearing those orange vests and listen to their instructions. They will likely have us gather in a central location that has been predetermined as a safe location to be in our floor, and we will all gather there and wait for the all clear to come from our security team here on campus. So that brings us to our conclusion. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully this has been helpful in informing you on where things are in campus, how to get around, what are unique or cool things to check out, as well as providing you some much needed information on what to do in the case of an emergency or disaster. Thanks so much, and we're looking forward to having you in person here shortly.